welcome to Medfield TV's Mario Kart Tournament here in 2019 at the beautiful Medfield TV studios. I'm Jared Ware, joined by McLean Connor. We've got a bunch of competitors here competing for top 16 coins and even 4 top 4 medals, which we'll see awarded at the end of the night by the station GM Brett Poirier. First of all, before we get into the action, we want to thank One Up Games out of Plainville, Massachusetts, who provided all of the Nintendo Switches and all of the equipment here up in Medfield to allow this tournament to happen. And we also want to thank Ashworth Awards out of North Attleboro for providing all of those coins. Everybody who walked through the door today competing got 1 coin, and there's top 16 coins up for grabs as well as our medals. So McLean, we've got ourselves a bunch of groups getting ready just on the other side of the door, just on the other side of this wall, getting ready for some Mario Kart 8 action on the Switch. You want to run through what this tournament is going to look like?
Okay. So each round will either have 4 or 3 players, and at the end of each, they'll be racing in a Grand Prix format, which is 4 races. The first place winner and the second place winner of these Grand Prix will move on to the top 16, where they will go on a one-on-one match against the other person. And that will then decide their final placing in the tournament.
So we are underway in Group A, and we are on the SNES version of Rainbow Road. Our player number 1 is Justin Widdop. Player 2, Benjamin Cunningham. Down in that player 3 window on the bottom left of your screen is Spencer Lee, and then Peter Travis on the DK, currently in second place. Now, there are 4 users on each of these maps, but there's also CPU players as well that our competitors are going to have to deal with.
Right. And that's going to make it a lot trickier for them to compete because, you know, they're all throwing items. In a 4-person match, there already be a bunch of items, but now you got all the CPUs involved throwing stuff to mess up the people in the front and all the other competitors.
So Peter Travis down on that DK, currently in good position. Actually got blue shelled, knocked into second. His coin count instantly drops from 10 down to 4, and that coin count is very important. When you're at your max stacks there at 10 coins, that's the fastest that your cart is going to go. So you want to keep that number at 10 as much as possible there as the DK drops down now to 5. As you look up at our player 2, Benjamin Cunningham, he has 5 coins as well. Up in player 1, Justin Widdop has no coins at the moment, currently sitting in 12th place, and in 9th right now, who is ghosted there, and he now has the mushroom, is Spencer Lee, and he currently has 0 coins as well.
Yes, and another thing you're going to notice a lot of the players doing is drifting, which is a good way to get around corners, but also a good way to get up your speed, because every time you drift, the longer you drift, the longer you get a spark, and the spark will start blue, then yellow, then purple. The different colors represent the different amount of speed you're going to get when you let go of the drift button.
Yeah, that's one of the core mechanics of Mario Kart 8, keeping your speed up. You want to find lines where you're minimizing the amount of times where you are not drifting, as Peter Travis there, player 4, the DK, finishes up his first race, followed by Benjamin Cunningham, who ends up in 6th. Peter Travis finished 2nd, as we get a look at those competitors there. Seats 1 through 4 from left to right on your monitor as the end of the first race of Group A. So we have multiple groups that will come through at each station. This is the first round, the seeding round. As you can see, the competitors in Group B, they're in the middle of their first race of the Grand Prix. Again, this is a 4-race Grand Prix. Points awarded by your placing at the end of each race, and the top 2, doesn't matter if they're the top 2 overall with the CPUs, just the top 2 users will move on to the placement groups a little later on in the evening. As we jump over to Group B, where our player 1 is Christian Costabile, our player 2 is Tyler Connor, our player 3 is Victoria Sullivan, and our player 4 is Grayson Spears. And we're on this map where there are no laps. You're racing from the top of the hill down to the bottom. When we were doing warm-ups, we actually already got a look at this map, as it looks like our player 1, Christian Costabile, not only was he the fastest user, he was the number 1 overall. Finishing in 3rd was Victoria Sullivan, so not a bad placement for her early on. And that was Tyler Connor, who was 4th in the group, and Grayson Spear in 4th.
That's right. We're going to be seeing the second race starting now, which is we're going to go all the way through this race. The way this is going to work is we're going to see all this race, and then they should be going on the Group C after they're done. Or it could be switching now to the Group C's first race.
And that's going to be player 1, Nate Cunningham, player 2, Jacob Solomon, and player 3 is Jeffrey Alderson. So we see the link up on player 1, Nate Cunningham. Shy Guy is our player 3, who's currently in 3rd. That's Jeffrey Alderson. And then we've got the Metal Mario on Jacob Solomon. Neo Bowser City, another map that we actually saw right before we went on air, kind of refamiliarizing ourselves with some of these.
Right. This is one of the hardest maps in the game, I find. It's very twisty and turny, and I believe there's a rain effect all over the maps, which makes it harder to turn.
Yeah, with all those twists and turns, there's a lot of opportunities to hold those drifts and get that speed boost that you're looking for coming out of those drifts. You also get a speed boost off of jumps. You could have jumped off of that blue pad that Link just drove over on player one. That gives you a little extra speed boost. I also believe you get a speed boost off of these, if timed correctly, those anti-gravity little pillars that are in the middle of the track there.
Yeah, in anti-gravity mode, when you run into players or objects, you actually get a speed boost instead of slowing you down, which is a new mechanic added to Mario Kart 8.
And unlike traditional Mario Kart on the N64, you're able to kind of change your loadout. Not only do you get to change your character, but you get to change whether you're using a traditional cart, a car-looking thing, a motorcycle, and all of those factor in your acceleration, your top-end speed, your handling. So finding the right balance between your character size and your loadout in terms of your cart is pretty crucial.
That's right. So we see right now, currently Link and Shy Guy are fighting over who's going to be the top right now. But Link has 0 coins right now, which is not good. He needs to get that number up if he wants to be able to catch up with Shy Guy, who right now has 7 coins, or 8.
And Shy Guy with that triple green shell, and that's a good power up to have. If anybody bumps into you, it actually eats up one of those shells and knocks them off of their cart. So that's a good, not only a good offensive option, you can fire them either forwards or backwards and they'll start bouncing and ricocheting off of walls. But if somebody runs into you, that also slows them down as well. As that Shy Guy, Jeff Alderson currently sitting in first. He's got 10 coins. He's sitting in a good spot, good drift there, but the blue shell, the vaunted blue shell, any leader will tell you you're always looking for that.
Right. The blue shell is only able to be stopped by one of 2 ways, the only official ways, with the super horn. And if you have a mushroom, you can escape it with the frame perfect move, but that's very hard to pull off. Yeah,
that turn has actually given our leaders some trouble there. Link fell off the map there earlier, and then you just saw Shy Guy as well fall off a moment ago. Link currently sits in first, and it looks like at the end of this heat, he'll take the top spot, the 15 points, and adding to his Grand Prix total will be Nate Cunningham. So a good start for him. You want to pick up as many points early on in these Grand Prix as possible, because again, the top 2 racers will advance in round 2, our placement round, and then we'll head to the championship round where we're just going to see 2 users, 2 players per race. They'll still be filled out with CPUs, but the top finishers there will take home the heavy hardware. As we're now going to flip over our first look at Group D. Our player 1 is Grant Sullivan. Our player 2 is Bo Trainer Craven. And our player 3 is Jack Gage.
Right now they're on Ribbon Road, of course from the older Mario Kart games that was reimagined in this one. And it looks like player 1 has a blue shell, which is not going to be good for everyone first. Right now none of them are in first, so that's just going to help them get a higher lead with more points.
And that's Jack Gage, the highest user right now in 4th place. Bo Trainer Craven currently actually just got passed there by Grant Sullivan, who got the bullet bill, and that gives you, you lose control of your cart, you go straight down the middle, you knock anybody out of your path, and it also gives you a speed boost as well. And that's one of those power-ups that you can pick up if you're towards the middle to the back of the pack. And you're not all, you're depending on your position, depends on what power-ups you're going to end up getting as the race goes on.
Yes, the farther back you are, the more useful the power-ups will be to help you catch up.
Yeah, when you're in front in those top 2 or 3 positions, you're really only looking at coins, which does give you some added top-end speed if you're able to stack them up. The banana, which can be used offensively or defensively. If you hold it behind your cart, it can block incoming shells, or you're going to get that green shell, which can also be used offensively or defensively.
Yes. So we see right now Jack Gage is in first place, so let's hope he can keep this. It's the 3rd lap and he's getting close to the finish line, so there's not much that could stop him now unless a red shell comes over. Really
nice dodge there on the Jack in the Box. He should be able to drift around this corner, use that speed boost to take him across the line. Good dodge of that banana as well, and Jack Gage will end up winning this heat overall. There's a battle for second between Grant and Bo. The bullet bill not going to be enough at the very end, and holding on there for second will be Grant Sullivan. We've got a wide age range of players today. We've got Michael Poirier, who we're going to see in the next Group D, General Manager Brett Poirier's brother, in his 30s. We've got some other racers getting up there as well, and then we see some younger racers as well, as it looks like we're flipping back over to Group A, and they're on Wario Goldmine. This is another map where you need to be careful of falling off. There's actually a secret path as well a little later on in the map. We'll see if anybody takes advantage of that, but there's good opportunities to drift around a lot of these long corners, really build your speed up.
Yeah. Right now it's a battle between Ben Cunningham and Peter Travis for first place, or first in the match, that is. It's right now Peter's taking it, though. But Benjamin has a super horn right now, which is a very useful item. It destroys any object that's coming towards you, so that's a very useful thing, you know.
Yeah, I believe we saw Peter Travis win the first race of the afternoon, so his DK has been pretty strong so far. Good drift around that corner, and he takes home another individual win there, so just adding to his Grand Prix total. He looks in a pretty good position, and we've seen him rack up 30 points already. That should be close to enough to qualify him for our top 16, and he'll be taking home some of the heavier hardware, and he's going to be looking for one of those medals.
That's right.
Those bats right there that you see on screen, they're up on the player 2 side. Those can hit you and slow you down as well, so that's something that you need to be aware of during the middle portion of this map. As we see the DK there bump himself up to 42 points, well ahead of some of the other competitors in his group. So he looks to be solidified, not only solidified as the #1 seed, but he might be one of the favorites early on in the entirety of the competition.
That's right, yeah. So now we're at Group B, where they should be on their way of their 3rd race.
Yeah, and you can see Victoria Sullivan there working the Wiimote, or it's not the Wiimote, what am I talking about? The Switch controller there, that is part of the steering process. You can actually use the tilt features in the controllers to kind of help you around some of those corners, or you can just use the traditional analog stick if you like. I know when I used to play, I used to just use the analog stick. I was a little more comfortable, but there are some turns where you can't help it. You get the controller going.
Yeah. That was just taken from him. He had got hit by a red shell right at the finish line, which is one of the hardest things that could happen in Mario Kart. One of the worst.
Yeah, it was Victoria Sullivan, it looked like, on the Yoshi as the #1 overall in the race. So she's picking herself up some more points. She finished pretty highly the last time that we checked in on Group B. She's looking to punch her ticket. And, ooh, tight matchup there between Victoria Sullivan and Christian Costabile. Only 4 points separating them in the top of this Grand Prix. Both of them would be into our top 16 if they're able to hold those positions, but you want to get into the #1 overall group if you can by winning your heat.
Yep.
As we flip back over to Group C, where down on the player 3 side, it's Jeffrey Alderson in 3rd and Nate Cunningham. We saw these two doing battle when we last checked in on Group C. Similar situation, still on the Link, still on the Shy Guy. And right there, the Shy Guy overtakes Link into 1st place. Link drops back into 3rd. And then a CPU actually overtakes the Bull. So those two battling not only with each other, but with one of the computer-controlled characters. And one of the interesting parts of this map, obviously being Hyrule, is you're rather than going for the traditional Mario coins, you're going for the Legend of Zelda rupees.
Yes, this is one of the more interesting maps. This was added later on in Mario Kart 8 and just added as a base game part of this game. So it's one of the harder maps. You have this one anti-gravity section later where if you hit all 3, right now Shy Guy's on it. Let's see if he hits it there. Now there's a shortcut right over there, but he sadly misses it. That's one of the gimmicks of this map is that shortcut area, which is very useful because otherwise you have to go around here.
Link in 3rd, looking to hold his position. Also on the inside part of that trap, there's like a snapping plant that could get you, and it will be Link, piloted by Nate Cunningham, taking 2nd, grabbing himself some crucial Grand Prix points, finishing 2nd overall in terms of the users, 6th overall in the race, is Jeffrey Alderson, grabbing some more Grand Prix points. Looks like those two should pretty solidly move on into the top 16, 54 points there for the link in the form of Nate Cunningham. So good work for him there, getting through that high rule section, as it looks like we're not exactly sure how many races they've done, but it looks like they've at least raced 3 times, as we're, again, doing 4 race Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Let's take a look in on Group D. I know it's the second time we've seen this map come up so far early on in group number 1. So the stages are randomly selected, so we could end up seeing a lot of stages repeated. We might not see some stages at all this afternoon, but we do have a lot of Mario Kart, so you would expect to see every stage at some point this afternoon.
Yeah, and like we said at the beginning, this is one of the more interesting tracks in the game because it's more of a like race down a mountain instead of a race around a track. So it's not every lap is the same. It keeps changing. So you got to be on your toes with this one because you never know you don't always know what's gonna come up next.
This is a crucial section. If you can hit all these speed boost pads and get the little jump bonus as well, you can really cruise through that section and open up your lead. It's Jack Gage there, our player 3 in first, followed closely in third by Grant Sullivan. Again, we saw those two go at it the last time we checked in on Group D. And you can go over these logs there, those little jumps. You can do those tricks for a speed boost. Jack Gage not taking advantage of every log there, did a couple as he goes into his drift, needs to be careful, and he gets tagged by the red shell. So not only are you trying to weave through those trees, you're trying to avoid those pesky red shells from behind.
Yeah, it's one of the harder parts of this track. It's very closed in, so all the items are all bouncing around in there, so it's very hard to keep a level head there.
And Jack Gage, good use of the fire plant there to pull himself into first place, knocked out a couple racers in front of him, and then smartly threw a couple more fiery orbs behind him just to make sure he extended his lead. He's up to 7 coins, in a good spot, heading into the gliding portion of the map coming up. And if he can hit all these speed boosts into these rings, he's going to be in a great spot. He gets the first, gets the second, weaves his way through the third. We'll see if he, quick use of the banana, not holding it for defensive possibilities, heading down the final stretch. He won't need it. He'll come across in first and finishing actually third overall, or pretty close to it. Yeah, it will be Bo Trainer Craven who finishes just ahead of Jack Gage.
All right, so what are the results here? Who's Wario?
So
that was their final race. That was the race 4.
Oh, and 4 points there separating the Larry and the Black Yoshi. That is tough. A good finish there by Jack Gage, I believe, was the Black Yoshi, but he's just going to miss out on the top 16.
That's right.
What's your name?
And it does look like we are coming towards the conclusion of our first rotation of each individual group. And I think this is Group B that we're taking a look at. Very close as well. I believe that it's Christian Costabile, the Wario, and Victoria Sullivan as the Black Yoshi. Only 2 points separating them in this Grand Prix, but they will move on to the top 16 as well. So we've raced the first set of groups A through D. We're now going to bring in 4 new racers on each group, and they're going to compete in the same format, looking to punch their ticket to the top 16 as well.
Yeah. So we don't know what to expect from this group either, because this is all very different types of play styles here, a lot of different characters. So I think that'll be very interesting.
It did look like some of our early favorites are going to be Peter Travis out of Group A, looked pretty good. Christian Costabile, Victoria Sullivan, and then Group D's Grant Sullivan and Bo Trainer Craven as well, both putting together good early Grand Prix out of our first rotation of competitors. So we're going to keep an eye on kind of where they finish off. Again, all of the individual winners of those Grand Prix will be grouped together in a group of 4, and then the winners of these next 4 groups as well will be grouped together in a group of 4. So it's going to be the number 1 racers all racing against each other, the number 2 racers all racing against each other, and so on and so forth. Obviously, the racers who finish 3rd and 4th will be outside of our top 16. They're going to finish up off stream, but we will bring you kind of the championship side of the bracket as we move on.
That's right.
So a good start to the event so far. Again, we want to thank Medfield TV, where community matters. I don't think that's the catchphrase. Where community shows, excuse me. Big I got to shout out, make sure our Medfield TV sponsors are happy about that. And then again, a big thanks to One Up Games out of Plainville, as well as Ashworth Awards out of North Attleboro. Each of them providing some big time services to make sure this tournament got off the ground. It does look like we're getting everybody set in their groups and their loadouts set, as well as our second set of groups will head out. Our Group A will be Cooper, Gage, Zane Abbas, and Sam Gage. So the Gage family, you'd assume they're related. We could find out during our break, which will be coming up at the end of this next group. And then in Group B, we're going to see Ethan Lemieux, Daniel Sparks, Anthony Sabia. And in Group C is going to be Ben Puntonio, Ben Thompson, Joanna Hermans. And then Group D will be Christopher Herbst, Michael Poirier, and Rico Benitez.
Yeah. I think this might be overall an older heat, so that might be a lot more competition up here.
We saw a good variation of characters. We saw a couple Black Yoshi seem to be one of the only multiples that I noticed. We saw Link. We saw a pretty strong DK as well. And your character selection certainly matters in Mario Kart 8.
Oh, yeah. All the characters have different strong stats. There's a heavyweight characters and the lightweight characters. Lightweight usually have a higher acceleration, which means they're able to catch up a lot faster when knocked down. Well, the heavyweights just have a higher top speed, but they cannot stay in the air as longer when gliding, which is also a good tactic because there are some shortcuts that they are unable to take.
Yeah, you also lose out on some of that handling when you're one of the bigger characters, which does affect the way that your kart does take those drifts around the corners, which we talked about how important that is in each and every race. So will be interesting to see what characters we see pulled out here as our next set of competitors come on to the Switch systems. So a lot of people listed Toad as their favorite Mario Kart characters, but we didn't see a lot of Toads through that first set of groups. We saw a couple people throw Shy Guy on there as well. He's a pretty solid character. I know we had one of the racers in here before we started. He was asking for a good middleweight character. We threw Luigi out there. Mario Luigi, about as classic middle of the road as you could get. Pretty average stats right across the board, kind of as the title characters usually are in games like this.
Yeah, usually the easiest to control. They're always the easiest that you could just jump in and play and be good with them.
We see some, we haven't really seen any Dry Bones yet, which is kind of a high-level difficulty character to pull off. We saw Metal Mario, who's one of the unlockable characters. There's also Gold Mario as well, which is one of the more difficult characters to unlock. Difficult might be the wrong word. You just have to kind of grind your way through the regular game of Mario Kart to unlock that. But obviously, on the consoles that we have, everything's unlocked. You have access to whatever character you'd like, whatever set of wheels or cart or glider as well. Those are some of the unlockables that you work your way through playing through Mario Kart 8 for the first time.
Yeah. Mario Kart 8 usually it's a game, Mario Kart Deluxe on the Switch. I mean, it's a game that has a lot unlocked. There's not much that we really need to worry about here. Gold Mario is one of the only exceptions, which we have not seen a lot of. I think he's one of the cooler characters in the game because he's like a super secret character, you know? He's like one of the hardest ones to unlock. It's like all 153 stars.
Yeah, and you can not only get the gold Mario, but you can get the full gold accoutrement as well. You can have a fully gold cart with him piling that as well, which is a pretty good, again, you mentioned a pretty solid loadout to go with, as everybody right now is getting their loadout set for their Grand Prix. A lot of decisions to be made in here. Comfort. Each kart does feel different. The motorcycles feel different drifting around the corners than the karts do, so it really does take a lot of time getting comfortable with the loadout that you find most successful. You know, you can choose whatever character you'd like, but if you can get yourself comfortable with it, you know, you're going to have success.
Yeah, it's a lot of personal preference in Mario Kart, like with your favorite character and then how they interact with the parts that you like, because like that will also change your acceleration. Like you have some karts are heavier than others, so like if you're a heavyweight character, you're probably also going to be even heavier than that. So you have to watch out for that because there are some areas which are harder to get over because they require the hang glider, but you might not make it as easily.
You're also each kart. It's not listed in the game, but there are some online calculators that you can use. Each cart does have separate ratings for anti-gravity and in underwater situations, which we saw some anti-gravity. We didn't see a lot of underwater yet. Like Water Park is obviously a big one where there's a pretty large underwater section to navigate with, but we saw some of the anti-gravity on Hyrule. We saw some of the anti-gravity on Neo Bowser City, so we'll keep an eye on for that as the afternoon goes on. It does look like we are pretty much ready to start our second groups of Grand Prix. As actually we're going to jump into the loadout selection here in Group A. Again, this is Cooper Gage, Zane Abbas, and Sam Gage. We've been kind of talking about some of the decisions that you have to make. We do see a Dry Bones there. It looks like we've got a Koopa down there on our player 3, and then Bowser up on our player 2.
Yeah. And as you can see here, they have the stats, and they will change depending on your car. So we can see that Dry Bowser over here, he has a very high speed but a lower acceleration, while Bowser Jr. is kind of more in the middle.
So Group A just going through the final setup before they're ready to start their Grand Prix. The Dry Bones, one of the heavyweight characters, is going to be very tough to knock over. It's going to take a little bit more time to recover, but he's going to have a little more high-end speed, a little less acceleration, and a little less handling. As we get our first look at Group B, this is Ethan Lemieux, Daniel Sparks, and Anthony Sabia. And again, we'll jump into the loadout section. Koopa, another Dry Bones, and another Black Yoshi. So far, it looks like Black Yoshi has been the most common champion that we've seen so far.
Yeah, very interesting that it's a very specific choice for a character. It's like, yeah, you didn't really expect that to be the top character. I mean, Dry Bowser I understand because he's pretty fast. Yoshi, of course, is a loved character in Mario, so it makes sense.
So the final loadouts here, we're playing normal items, we're playing these 4-race Grand Prix, and I wouldn't mind seeing this one. I do like Bone Dry Dunes and Bowser's Castle. That's a fun one, and then you get the classic Rainbow Road, which is everybody's favorite Mario Kart track, going all the way back to the N64. You ever get a chance to play on N64? Is that a little before your time?
I played on a little bit. One of my friends owns one, and he grew up with it, so I played a little bit. Oh, and we get to see Rainbow Road in action right here.
Right off the start here. So this looks to be Group A getting a jump on the classic Rainbow Road. Slightly different than the N64 version for sure. Back when there were cartridges that you were not supposed to blow in, but everybody blew into them just in case they didn't work. And we've already seen 2 racers slide off the track here, and that is one of the big difficulties of Rainbow Road. There's not a lot of guardrails. There's a lot of open track where you can certainly slide off pretty quickly. So it's been a struggle for some of these racers in Group A to keep their carts in the right position.
That's right. Drifting is extremely important in this one because there's so many corners that you have to cut and make sure you cannot run into the edges, because when you fall off the map, it takes longer because you have to have Lakitu carry you up, and then you have to be able to just get back onto your top speed. And you lose all your, 3 of your coins.
So that's their overall place in the bottom left of each of their quadrants of the screen, but you're really only worried about who finishes the highest out of each of the user-controlled racers. The CPUs don't matter for our scoring purposes. And it looks like up on our player 1 side, Cooper Gage leading the way out of the users on that Dry Bones, currently moving into 4th place. He's got 2 mushrooms to use, and he's got a second power-up as a triple banana, and that turn again eats up one of our competitors. This is one of the tougher turns on the map. You really have to get into a real hard drift to work your way around that corner.
Yes, and I believe bikes in this game actually have 2 forms of drifting, where you have outside drifting and inside drifting, which can change out how you drift. Outside drifters usually take wider turns, while inside, like this cart I believe Dry Bowser's using, is a very inside drifting bike, which means that he's going to be doing a lot of sharp turns, which could be very disorienting at first.
Dry Bones currently in 8th overall, the leader between all of our racers in this heat. He flies off the map, but the closest competitor there, Sam Gage, also goes off the map as well. So, again, this is a difficult map to keep your cart on the track. You really have to have a good map awareness, a good map sense, know when to go into your drifts, which just takes repetitions on all of these tracks.
Right. Yeah, this is considered the hardest track for any Mario game, is always Rainbow Road. So it makes sense that a lot of people are struggling on this one. This is just a hard map in general.
Good use of the bullet bill there by Zane Abbas. He was going off the track. That automatically puts you back on the center. So able to avoid that penalty for going off the map, and then uses the speed boost to launch himself off the track. He's currently in the back of the pack, but only 1 or 2 spots behind his 2 other competitors. If you look down on our player 3 side, this is an interesting part of the map. You want to be on the green side. Those green arrows give you a little speed boost forwards. The red arrows, where it just changed over, actually slow you down. That was a tough break there for Sam Gage, but he navigated that nicely. Currently in 10th and leading the way here in our first race of our second Group A run-through.
Yeah.
Another bullet bill in the back there for Zane Abbas. We'll see if he can catch up to either Cooper or Sam Gage. And actually, with the bullet bill, he jumps ahead of both into 10th overall. He's got the triple mushrooms. We'll see if he's able to use these 3 effectively. And he will close it out, taking home the top points out of the 3 competitors there right at the very end. Some good bullet bill usage there by Zane Abbas throughout that race to get himself back into contention.
That's right.
So a 10th, 11th, and 12th place finish overall. But all that matters are those Grand Prix points between the 3 colored users down there at the bottom of the screen. The top 2 will move into the top 16. And unfortunately, the 1 player who finishes kind of out of that top 2 will be down in our bottom 16. Time to jump over to Group B. Ethan Lemieux, Daniel Sparks, and Anthony Sabia getting ready. Actually, already in the middle of their, I believe this is their second track. And leading the way is our player 2, Daniel Sparks, on that black Yoshi.
Yeah, this looks like a close race. You got Dry Bowser again in first, so we've seen a lot of Dry Bowser. At both races so far already have him.
Yeah, in this second grouping, he's been a popular character. As we mentioned, Black Yoshi's probably been the most used character overall there. Using the red shell defensively out in first place is Daniel Sparks to keep his lead.
Yeah, and he hit all of those boost spins. Like in your anti-grav, like I said, you are able to get a speed boost by hitting those little cones in the middle, which is what he hit all of them and did all the tricks, which gives you a huge speed boost throughout that section.
Nice drift around those Koopas. If he's hit by one of those, that will slow him down pretty majorly. Currently in first place. In fourth is Ethan Lemieux. And going into his drift there is Daniel Sparks in the lead on that black Yoshi. Very nice bit of drifting there, using every corner to his advantage. Picks himself up a power-up. Got to make sure he doesn't get hit by this bone flower. And, ooh, the electricity.
Combination of everything right there.
And we've got our first player coming in here for an interview. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody who's watching?
Hello, Medfield TV. If you're watching right now, my name is Justin. One of my gamer tag is JS. You can follow me on Instagram if you like for some exclusive handmade Nintendo posts, things like that, and other interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
How did you finish up in your first set of pools?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I played it fair, and I gave it my all.
That's all we're looking for here in the tournament. What character did you end up using?
Well, believe it or not, I used Drift King, Donkey Kong.
DK, nice choice. Yeah. So, what is it about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that you enjoy so much?
Well, if I had to pick, I like how they offer the F-Zero tracks, such as Big Blue and Mute City. After all, my favorite character is Captain Falcon in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Falcon Punch!
We got a Smash Ultimate player here. One of our casters is a big player, so maybe you guys can get around in later on in the back room where they've got multiple switches set up as well. Again, thanks to One Up Games. I heard you're one of the frequenter of One Up Games there in Plainville. You play a lot of the community events.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do my best to, attend the Mario Kart tournaments once a month.
And I know one of the big things around video games is like the community building aspect and the little communities that get built. What would you say to anybody who's watching who might be interested in kind of joining the little communities that are popping up here in Massachusetts?
So little communities like a game like this?
Yep.
Well, to all you future comers out who plan on competing in a video game tournament like this, I would say practice the video game as much as you can, because you never know if you're going to be competing against somebody who may be better than you.
And before we let you go, is there anything else that you want to say on your record to any of the fans who are watching?
Well, to all your Mario Kart competitors out there, best of luck to you. That's all I got.
Best of luck to you, Justin, and good luck
too.
as the tournament rolls on. Hopefully you can pick up some more wins as the races rack up.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Have a good one.
You do the same. Take care now.
Great interview there from one of our competitors.
Yep.
And those communities, you hear about the fighting game community as one of kind of the most grassroots communities out there. You look at some of the prize pools in esports recently, something like the Fortnite World Championship, $3 million to first place. The fighting game community, a little smaller, a little tighter knit. He talked about Smash. I believe the Smash champion of EVO, which is the biggest tournament in the world, I think only won like $7 grand. So
Yeah, Smash Bros. Prize pools are usually very low because the developers don't usually pay much attention to that scene of the game.
So it's a really community, tight-knit scene that grows in a real organic way. And One Up Games in Plainville is a place that you can go if you want to actually go back to the old school days of gaming where you sat in the same room with the people that you were competing against. And I'm sure there are people who still do that all the time, but there was nothing better than getting 3, 4, 5 of your good friends together for a sleepover on a Friday or Saturday night and just playing games until you pretty much couldn't see straight anymore. And that's kind of, there's a lot of people in our age bracket. I know there's a big age gap between the two of us right now, but you share similar experiences through playing these games.
Oh yeah, always. I remember when I was younger and I would always go over to my friend's house and we'd always just like set up the Wii or something and we'd just play games for a long time.
And so we have a look here with Metal Mario on the motorcycle in first place. Actually got bailed out there by one of the shortcuts. He was off the track but landed on that shortcut pad. Drops back to third place. The Peach with the star activated and using the red shell looking to move up closer to that second place spot and pick up some more Grand Prix points. But unable to really take advantage of that star or the red shell. Mario now jumps into first. He's got 4 coins. Peach also with 4, but Mario loses out on 3 of those coins and drops back to 5th place. Big star activation here for Peach. We'll see how far she's able to move up.
Oh, was almost able to catch up. It was very close to that area of the race.
Yeah, and the star activation gives you invulnerability, so you're not going to be affected by any of the other power-ups out there, as that was Group C running that race there. Looked like Joanna Hermans and Ben Thompson are competitors, as we'll take a look at Group D with Christopher Herbst, Michael Poirier, and Rico Benitez. A pretty apt hat there on Rico. Getting into the Mario theme. He also has the Mario plush, so.
And we're going to be racing on Mario Circuit.
Maybe he has a slight advantage with all the gear he's got with him outside of the game.
Yeah. So we got another Yoshi here, but this time it's Pink Yoshi, Bowser, and Wario.
I think we've seen 1 or 2 Warios before this. First look at Pink Yoshi and into those drifts pretty nicely there is Pink Yoshi and using that to jump into first place.
Yeah, he's got all the drifts down here. He's holding it for as long as he can over here.
Yeah, there's that visual cue when you're drifting. Can you kind of explain to our viewers what that visual cue is and how that affects you as a racer?
Yeah, so as we see here, he held it all the way to the purple. The purple is the highest amount you could hold a drift to, and that will give you the biggest speed boost. The 3 levels are light blue, which will give you a very little speed boost. The yellow one, which used to be the top one, but then in this game they added purple, which is the fastest you could go with a drift boost.
So the Pink Yoshi in second, the Wario, I believe that's Michael Poirier in 7th, and then in 5th is Rico Benitez on that Bowser.
Yes, so they all hit by the lightning right over here. You're going to notice that the first place player will not grow as big faster, which means that he's going to stay in a slower position longer than all the other characters who are behind.
Yeah, it's one of those things about the game. There are some built-in comeback mechanics for people who aren't towards the top of the leaderboard. So you see a lot of races where somebody might be in first for the first 2 laps, maybe even midway through the third, but then some crucial power-ups come through and somebody from the middle of the pack ends up winning the race, as the Pink Yoshi in an instant went from first down to 4th and working their way back up the leaderboard into 4th as Wario is in 11th now, and the Bowser is in 7th as we're going to complete lap number 2.
Yeah.
So some work here for the pink Yoshi, looking to pick up as many Grand Prix points as possible. A nice drift there around the corner moves them into 2nd, now into 1st. Again, those drifts have been on point from this pink Yoshi. Oh, the green shell. Sniped out there, but he had a big enough lead to only drop back to 2nd on recovery.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing over here on this track. Definitely played on it many times. He knows every area to drift and how long to hold it.
Only with the 1 coin, though, so not taking advantage of some of those coins there on the track. And that's kind of the next level of kind of building your race lines as you get more familiar with these courses, is you want to not only know when to drift, but if you want to be in the middle of the track near the edges so you can grab some of those coins easily. And even when you have the 10 coins, so you can't go over those 10 stacks as the pink Yoshi comes in 2nd, if you're taking those coins, all of the racers behind you aren't getting them as well. So you can deny some of that speed from the people behind you.
Right.
So there's a look at our competitors in Group D right now. I believe they have maybe one more race to go. It's the pink Yoshi with a big advantage over the other 2 racers in the group, 39 Grand Prix points. So certainly looks to be locked into our top 16. A little battle going on there between Rico Benitez and Michael Poirier, I believe, for 2nd place, as that's Christopher Herbst leading the way.
Okay, now we're looking at Group A with Cooper Gage, Zane Abbas, and Sam Gage. So they're back on NES Rainbow Road, which is one of the harder courses in this game. It has absolutely no walls on it, so you got to make sure you're doing all your turns correctly. And it got these thwomps on it, which if you hit them normally, it'll hurt you. Usually you just run into them, but they have the star power, so they actually will hurt you, and you'll get crushed, which makes you slow down for a period of time.
You can be risky and try to go underneath them. Some of them have a little bit of space, about 1 cart width on either side that you can go around, but you have to make that decision pretty early, because if you choose wrong, you're going to lose a lot of spots in the race.
That's right. They also make the track move, which you could, if you're able to. The timing's very hard on this course, but you can actually jump on top of all those the waves that they create.
Yeah. There you see him right there on our player 2 side, unable to take advantage. It does look like Cooper Gage, even though he flies off the map there, is leading the way in 4th place, now into 5th. In 8th and 9th are Zane Abbas and Sam Gage. I'd like to see the Grand Prix points in this group. The last time we checked in, it was Zane Abbas who used that bullet bill a couple times to end up kind of finishing the highest out of these 3 racers. We'll see, hopefully at the end of this race, what the Grand Prix points look like.
Yeah, this is definitely a very close match between all of these 3 players.
Yeah, and he's not drifting as efficiently as some of the other racers that we've seen so far. It does take a lot of time to get used to that, as the oil spill there on the screen. That's one of the tougher power-ups to get hit by, because you obviously lose about 60% of your screen, and you're using those quartered screens already. There's not a lot of screen to look at there to kind of make sure you're on track.
Yes, it also makes it, when you drift, you slide around more, so it makes controlling these cars a lot harder.
So it's still Cooper Gage leading the way out of these 3 racers in 5th, followed closely by Zane Abbas, and right behind him is Sam Gage in 8th, and actually overtaking Cooper is Zane. And going right off the map in the same spot, though, is Zane, and actually we go from 10th to 8th and back, and Zane currently leading the way. Right behind him is Cooper, and Cooper got hit there right on his way past those blocks, and that really slowed him down. But the bullet bill again. Group A, this is the bullet bill group. Oh, and the shock there on the face of one of the racers there right at the end is, look at that, 1 point separating these 2 leaders. And again, at the end of this Grand Prix, we'll be jumping into a 5-minute break, and I believe we are just about done with the Grand Prix. They're grabbing the points there. So again, we want to thank you for tuning in to this Mario Kart tournament at Medfield TV. We will have round 2, the placement round, more group stage action here from Medfield TV. It's the 2019 Mario Kart tournament. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with round number 2. Perfect.
Here at Rocky Woods, we hold a lot of different events. We have camp here every Wednesday. We do sunset hikes. We have camping here. We offer private rentals. We have canoe and kayak rentals. People can come and fish the pond. We have over 6 miles of trails, about 490 acres that we protect here, and people can just travel the trails as much as they'd like. With the kids, we have it's called Farmer Forester Chef Camp. So we spend 4 days at Powysset. We farm, cook in the kitchen, and do animal activities, anywhere from collecting eggs, farm chores. The kids love ponding for turtles and frogs, brushing animals, anything, you name it. We're trying to get the kids involved and teaching them how to care for livestock, where our food comes from, the importance of growing our own vegetables, and just pretty much nature. Anything nature that we can get kids involved with, we find is a great learning tool for children. Every day we will ride. We have like quiet time in the morning for our journal. Everyone makes a nature journal on our first day of camp, so we can document any cool things that we see in nature. And then we will do farming in the morning, gardening, livestock chores, and then when we're here at Rocky Woods is our forestry day, so we'll do tree identification, birding, ponding. We get to roast s'mores when the kids want. And then we also have the beaver pond out back, Echo Pond, so we get to go check out the beaver activity and learn a bunch of things about beavers and all the cool trees and stuff that we have around the pond. I love to see kids outdoors and engaging in nature, so I'm constantly trying to show them something cool to keep their interest in nature and not want to think about their tablet or technology. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job with that so far, because every kid's left dirty and happy, and I'm excited about that. Pretty much anything outdoors we try to do.
The ice cream truck's been coming for about 1.5 years now. We saw one on the side of the road, and we thought how fun it would be to own an ice cream truck. When everything was just right, we decided to purchase it. A big part of that was I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 19-year-old son. My daughter is a driven, hard-working girl who really wants to save money for a car, and she just couldn't find a job anywhere. And my son was very concerned that he wouldn't be able to pay for college. And my husband looked at me and said, "The universe is sending you enough signals. Go buy the ice cream truck. Our children will have a job." So it's named after Ruby. Ruby's the dog right on the side of the truck, which is kind of neat because it's where the trash chute is, so all the kids get to feed the doggy with their trash after they get their ice cream. There's just something special about having an actual antique 1975 ice cream truck. And if I can show a new generation of kids that yes, ice cream does drive around and will magically come to you and bring you happiness. We're on Facebook, Ruby's Ice Cream Truck. We're on Instagram, Ruby's Ice Cream Truck. And anyone can call our business line at 508-265-7846. We also have a website, rubystruck@gmail.com. Can't think of anything I'd rather do.
Number 2 of the first Mario Kart tournament being held by Medfield TV. And as we've shouted out a couple times, got to give credit to some of the companies in the area who have helped make this tournament a possibility. And that's One Up Games out of Plainville, who again are providing all of the switch systems, all of the peripherals for this tournament to be competed. And then Ashworth Awards out of North Attleboro as well, providing some of the cool swag that our competitors are going to walk away with at the end of the night. So we saw our first seeding round go through. Now we're going to see the winners of each of those groups jump up into groups of 4 as well. The second places will play in groups of 4, third in groups of 4, and the fourth place racers in groups of 4 as well. There's not enough fourth place racers to do more than one loop. There's only 2 competitors down there. But we will see now pretty much every group will have 4 racers in it.
That's right, yeah.
We'll see if maybe we see some character shifts as we go on in the tournament. Maybe some people changing things up now that they're out of the seeding groups, because certainly things are going to get a little more difficult here into the placement groups. There's not a lot of opportunity to make those changes, though, because once you lock in your racer for the whole Grand Prix, that's who you have to stick with. But you could make some changes as we head into the championship round next.
Right.
And so the winner, so out of Group A, which we have 8 racers, the top 2, or the 2 number 1s out of those 2 groups are going to go head-to-head for first place overall, as you get a look at least 2 of the competitors in Group A. And they'll be looking to put together 4 solid races and take home the most Grand Prix points. And there's our Group B. And I believe that's Peter Travis, Sam Gage, Tyler Connor, and Anthony Sabia.
Yep.
And in Group C, Spencer Lee, Zane Abbas, Christian Costabil, and Ethan Lemieux. And I believe our Group A, who I didn't name when they were on screen, actually Group D, while we have them, is Ben Cunningham and Victoria Sullivan. And our Group A will be Justin Widup, Cooper Gage, Grayson Spears, and Daniel Sparks. So I know Daniel was using the black Yoshi. We'll see if he sticks with the same loadout, as again everybody's getting ready, getting their loadout set on all of these groups.
Yeah. So we might see some people changing up their picks, maybe their cart combinations here to better suit what issues they had last time. Because these were the first place winners, correct?
Yep, and we saw Justin Widup's DK. He was in here, one of the interviews we did earlier. He had a solid DK in his qualifying group, so we'll see if he busts that out again here in the placement groups, and he's able to take that top spot. As again, we're going through our final settings here as the placement groups are getting set. Again, doing the same as we did earlier, 4 races for these individuals. The top Grand Prix points will move on into the higher seeds, where we'll only see 2 racers per group in the championship round, and that's how we'll decide our head-to-head. And I just heard through the door that they can get started whenever they're ready. So our Group A, again, the winner of this Grand Prix will move on to the grand final in about, looks like maybe 45 minutes to an hour from now.
So this is a new map that we have not seen before. It's Luigi's Mansion, which it has some interesting anti-gravity, some underwater, which we will see for one. We haven't seen much of that this tournament yet, so that'll be interesting to see. And also some interesting areas for some shortcuts, so hopefully we'll see some of that.
The DK in second place overall. Nice drift around that first corner. There are some tough drifts on this, as well as we see our first underwater section of the map.
Yeah, and then there will be a splitting pathway, which will lead to either a hang glider section or a just normal jump, which will also lead into another separate pathway. So a lot of racers will have to figure out which one they want to go to for this.
10 coins in first place for DK, leading the way in third on the Koopa with 7 coins is our player number 1, and actually moving into second. Still a little bit of a gap between DK and the Koopa for that spot, and actually a tough corner there as we come to the conclusion of the first lap there for player 1, kind of moves them back into third.
Yeah, right now DK has banana guard, which is the triple bananas, which is very useful. As you see, he just ran to Morton. Because he's in zero gravity, he actually got a speed boost while also hurting him. But Abu took his item, so now he no longer has protection in this area.
2 nice drifts around the corner, using the inside portion of the track, eating up those 2 coins. Even though he's at maximum, he's denying those from the other racers behind him. Eats up that coin there as one of his power-ups. Again, you're really only getting bananas, coins, and green shells up front if you're the DK. Got to keep an eye on that Koopa there, our player 1 in 3rd place. He's got 10 coins, and the 2 mushrooms, and using actually the 3rd there. So we'll see if he can make a move towards 1st place.
Yeah, it's very close up here. Oh, and I almost saw blue. Oh, blue shell did get thrown out, so DK is going to get hit, possibly giving a chance for Koopa to get catch up.
Koopa in that 4th, trying to kind of catch his bearings after coming out of the Lightning miniature form. Has to watch out for the starred racer behind him. Does not want to get hit. Into 4th place, has the large mushroom. Working his way around the corners. He has 5 coins. This is going to be tough to catch this DK, who's in 1st, and he's got the 10 coins, and now he's using the bomb on the defensive.
Right. You have to be careful with the bomb on the defensive because it could explode while you're holding it behind you, and it could damage you.
Absolutely, and there he throws it as he goes across the finish line and picking up the 15 points for 1st place overall in the Grand Prix is the DK. I think our seeding and our player order has kind of jumped around a little bit, so not exactly sure who's piloting which character, but I do believe that's Justin Widup, who we had in earlier. He was talking about his Donkey Kong being pretty strong early on in our group, so he grabs the 15 points, and that's a crucial 15 there in Group A, looking to punch his ticket to that final race of the night.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get a race from Group B. These guys will be battling for any spot between, I believe, 5th and 8th is what these guys are looking at right now.
So this course is Thwomp Ruins, which is a very traditional Mario Kart course, but it features a lot more thwomps than usual and also a very short underwater section. Not much anti-gravity on this stage except for this one last section, which we have all just passed, or this wall, which you see Black Yoshi going on.
Yeah, this is a really good path to take. It's one of my favorites there. Kind of get you out of the firing line of a lot of the other racers.
There also is 2 Black Yoshis in this race, showing how popular this character is.
Yeah, we've seen Black Yoshi a lot so far tonight. He's been the most popular character. We saw Pink Yoshi as well earlier.
I believe Yoshi is one of the better characters in this game. He's a lot more even, easy to pick up, so I think Yoshi is a very good character for all these people to play. I think it's a very strong one.
We got a dry Bowser up on player 1 in 3rd, a little bit behind the Black Yoshi. He needs a couple power-ups to help him out, or a mistake like that one there from the Black Yoshi in 1st, and that lead is going to shrink there. Actually dropping into 2nd now is the Black Yoshi, and he goes sidewall, and you look at the dry Bowser, he stays on the low ground there and kind of has to deal with those circular thwomps.
Right. It's a very close race between Black Yoshi and Dry Bowser. You know, it's either one's game right now. Dry Bowser is one of the fastest characters in this game, so he could easily catch up if if Black Yoshi messes up somewhere.
1st and 2nd, and there is the dry Bowser.
But he misses the shortcut.
Ooh, yeah, that's one of the tougher shortcuts to hit in the game. High level of accuracy needed. The blue shell is going to get him as well. Luckily, he was over that ravine. If that hits you, that is so bad to get hit by the blue shell, and you have to get airlifted as well. So you lose a lot of time. He drops into 3rd. The Black Yoshi right in front of him on his screen. They're going to bump into each other right there. This is a neck-and-neck battle in Group B. And actually, that was the 3rd and final lap there a little earlier. I missaw there. So the 12 points there grabbed by the Black Yoshi. That's going to be crucial out of Group B, but we just saw it's going to be very close between all these racers here in B.
Yeah.
And we're going to flip back over to Group A, which again is one of our number 1 seeded groups. Those were your 2nd place racers there in Group B, going head-to-head from our earlier group. And DK in 2nd, and leading the way is the Koopa. We saw these two going at it. That's a rough bomb timing there. And the DK with the speed boost right at the end. Looks like he's going to take 1st place right out from underneath the Koopa. What a finish there between our top seeds, and that's huge Grand Prix points there We'll
Yeah.
see what the standings look like if we hold on the finish screen in just a moment. Still a little bit of work for Wario to put in, but he's almost done as he misses one of the rings there. He's going to go into the star mode to close it out. So he finishes in style, but will only pick up 1 Grand Prix point, finishing in 12th place.
Yeah.
So crucial standing there, 15, and now an 8-point gap between the Koopa and the DK. So the DK really looking to punch his ticket to that grand final, but Koopa not going anywhere, and if DK makes one mistake in any of these next 2 races, it could flip in an instant.
Yeah, Koopa's right on his tail, you know. It's anyone's game at that point.
In our Group B, again, this is the first half of our top 16. All these guys finished in the top 2 of their original group. As you can see, focused in on the screen. Let's see what we got. The Drive Bowser again in first place, Black Yoshi in 5th, and the other Black Yoshi in 4th. That's player 2 in 5th and player 4 in 4th.
Yeah, and right now on Mario Circuit, which has this one big anti-gravity section, which is a very good spot for catching up over in this race.
Lap 2 of 3, the Drive Bowser on the final lap, the red shell. Oh, and that's going to slow him down majorly around this turn. Breaks up a lot of his momentum, has to get back into his drift, but none of the other racers really close enough to take advantage. The power plant there on player 2, that's one of my favorite power-ups, gives you a little speed boost, and if anybody's in proximity, will get knocked over as well by that.
Right.
One of the first times we've seen the power plant this afternoon. And how about the Waluigi there on player 3 was all the way up into second place before that lightning and a stray shell knocked him off of his axis, and he drops down to 6th. The second place now, our player 2, Black Luigi, has pulled into the lead out of these 4 racers. Man, this second seed, this Group B, has been back and forth, and the Dry Bones, just edged out by player 4, the Black Yoshi, into first. So 12 points for him, and he's going to stay ahead in this Grand Prix by 5 over the Dry Bowser.
Yeah, it's a very close match. Everyone's neck and neck in that race.
Not only are they close on those Grand Prix, every time we cut to Group B, those finishes are neck and neck between these racers. So razor-thin margins kind of separating these racers there in Group B. We'll flip back to our winners Group A, And the DK, 10 coins and in first place. That's been a common theme in Group A. Solid racing so far.
Yeah, and this map they're playing right now, Grumble Volcano, the longer the match goes on, as you see, some of the map falls apart. So in lap 3, there'll be many holes for you to fall into lava, which is not very good. You'll lose all your acceleration and you have to restart, so that's not very good.
The DK well out in front, about 2 turns ahead of the rest of the competitors. A star there for the Koopa, and unfortunately it ran out before that shell hit him. Probably about 2 or 3 frame differential there between the end of that star animation and the shell hitting him. That drops him into 4th place. The Wario, our player 3, is in 11th and tried to use the bullet bill to not fall off the track, and unfortunately didn't time it right. He loses the bullet bill power up and is knocked off the map as well.
Yeah, and as you can see, there's not a lot of room anymore to do a lot of turns on this, so it's a very close, tight-knit race. But DK already finished. He's very far ahead in this race.
Yeah, I think he might be our racer to watch. We'll take a look at the other group winners in a couple of minutes. We'll see if somebody else establishes themselves as a main competition, as the Koopa, who's been trying to keep pace with DK so far in this group, ends up in 4th place. And we'll drop a couple points behind DK, who's pretty much locked his position, I believe, in the final.
Yeah.
I mean, he's racing well. Every time we cut to Group A, he's got 10 coins, and he's well out in front of the rest of the field.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows all these courses.
Yeah, it takes a little while of practice to get used to all these courses when you need to drift, the lines you need to take to hit those coins. But let's jump back to Group B. This has been razor-thin margins in this group, and I expect when we flip over, only a couple spots between them. The player 4, Black Yoshi, currently in first place, has 9 coins and a bomb, throws it behind him immediately. Again, we've seen this snow map multiple times, not a lap-based track, just the race from the top of the mountain to the bottom. But Black Yoshi, player 4, holding on in first, Everybody else a little back in the pack, but the blue shell takes out player 4. Had a big enough lead to preserve his position in first. He's using those speed boost pads pretty well. The lightning affects all of the 4 racers in this group. And the player 4, Black Yoshi, stays in front.
Something good about this map, though, is for player 1, because it's not based on a circular map, there will be no items in front of him that he has to worry about. On other maps, you know, that are lap-based that go around, he would have to worry about someone else's banana or someone throwing a shell like in front of him that just happens to hit him. You know, you don't have to worry about that here.
So it was the Black Yoshi player 4 picking up the win in that race. And he is going to pull ahead of the Dry Bowser, 12 points ahead. And I believe that is the 3rd race of 4 in Group B. Not 100% sure on that just yet. But it does look like the way that they're pointing in the direction of the screen that they'll have one more go. As we will jump on back to Group A. It's been all about the DK in this group, and the Koopa in second, showing himself pretty nicely so far in this one.
Right, and here we are on, I believe, Big Blue, which is like we had Justin come over, right?
Yep.
And he talked about the F-Zero tracks. This is one of them. So it's a very fast-paced track. There's a lot of ways to gain speed. Like earlier we saw the water. This is also not a circular lap-based track. It will change every lap. So this is one that you have to worry about. But as you see here, there's lots of boost pads, lots of tracks going forward. And there's actually no coins on this map. There is pads on the side, as we see here on Bowser Jr.'s screen, which if you ride over that, it will fill up your coin gauge.
Oh, and the Koopa checks behind him to make sure there's no incoming projectiles, and he knocks off DK in the final race. I don't think that's going to be enough Grand Prix points to put him into first place, but a well-run race there by the Koopa to take out the DK.
Absolutely.
He timed that blue shell, or that red shell right at the end. He could see the DK in the top left corner of his screen. He had the defensive bomb. DK it's a tough situation, right? He throws that red shell and you've got the bomb, it's going to blow you up. You have to throw that bomb and you have to hit the Koopa. It's a tough play to make, unable to pull it off, and the red shell able to help the Koopa on the way to first.
Right, yeah.
But that's one of those moments where you're really making decisions on the fly in this game, trying to gather as much information as you can to make a good decision. As we head back to Group B, it's player 4, Black Yoshi, in first, and the Dry Bowser currently in third.
Yeah, this is one of the closer groups we've had here, with Black Yoshi being in first right now, player 4, and Dry Bowser being in third. So it's really very possible for each of them to catch up right now. Although right now, Black Yoshi has a pretty good lead, player 4, when you look at the map.
Really excellent drifting there down on our player 4 side. Really pushing that, gets the maximum drift bonus. He's going to get a little skill points as well going over the jump with some flair, but the red shell takes him out for just a moment, and Dry Bowser moves into second, not that far behind, has to make sure he goes around that skeleton plant, doesn't want to get knocked over by that. Another red shell for Dry Bowser.
Right, Dry Bowser is one of the faster characters in this game, so if he's able to get Black Yoshi to be hurt and like slow down, then he could probably easily catch up if he has his drifts on point.
I don't know if there's going to be enough racetrack, though, for Dry Bowser to catch up.
Yeah.
And crossing the line, and the red shell right after he crossed in first there. Black Yoshi ends up grabbing the top spot in Group B, our first set of Group B here in round number 2, our placement round. So exciting stuff there in Group B. The Black Yoshi, been a fan favorite so far today, and
looks like we'll see him continuing.
Certainly will, moving on a little later in the afternoon, as we got to get some of our other racers across the finish line here down the stretch. As finally closing out there is the Waluigi, and the Black Yoshi will pick up 15 more points. 57 points for him overall, the Dry Bowser with just the 40. And so that, I believe, completes our second Grand Prix, or excuse me, our first Grand Prix of the first round of placements. We're going to get 4 new racers coming in this top 16. We're going to see Jeffrey Alderson, Ben Thompson, Bo Trainer Craven, and Christopher Herbst in Group A. And then we're going to see Nate Cunningham, Grant Sullivan, Joanna Hermans, and Michael Poirier in the Group Bs.
That's right. It looks like this group just finished up on Grumble Volcano again.
Yeah, so Dry Bones picking up 37 points, as I believe we might have dropped either into Group C or Group D as we get some of our top of the bracket, and that was Group C. As we take a look at our bottom 16 players, competed hard in the first few rounds here and get to close out the tournament with a couple more Grand Prix to their name. Everybody's going to play at least 3 Grand Prix, not to mention the 4 or 5 switches that are set up in the big conference room here at Medfield TV, where everybody can play some more Mario Kart. You can play some Smash Brothers set up there. There's some classic games as well on the Switch, so a lot of variety for these competitors.
Yeah. And here we have Group D finishing up with Dry Bowser and Shy Guy.
Yeah, Ben Cunningham and Victoria Sullivan are the 2 racers competing in this Group D action, as we're going to get through the rest of the groups before our second set of the top 16. And the big question is, anybody going to be able to hold on to or catch up to the Donkey Kong that we've seen out of Justin Witt up to this point? He looked really good in his second group as well, consistently at that 10 coin mark in front in a lot of those races, though he didn't win every race in his Grand Prix. We saw him knocked off at the very end there.
Right.
But we'll have to keep a close eye on the competitors in Group A, see if anybody displays as much dominance, because they're going to have to go head-to-head with him.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a challenging one, but as we've seen, Koopa was able to pass him at the end, so it's very much possible.
Yeah, it's one of those games where there's a certain degree of luck, obviously, with the power-ups and the timing of those power-ups. Could get caught by a shell when you're in midair, and that could cost you big time on some of these tracks. Also wonder what the stage selection or the Grand Prix selection is going to look like in that final group.
Right, we've seen a lot of Mount Wario. It's a very popular track over here. And a lot of Mario Circuit as well.
As you see, one of the workers there from One Up Games getting the placements of those 2 to help our brackets move along. And it does look like we're pretty much finished up with the first set of groups here in round number 2. We're going to get our second set of groups coming into those stations A, B, C, and D. And there's some good product placement there on the back of that t-shirt there for One Up Games, all their information there on display. Then you can certainly check them out on any of the various social media platforms out there, as well as MedTV, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. If you're watching the live stream right now, you already know there's a YouTube channel. Do yourself a favor, do Medfield TV a favor, hit that big red subscribe button. You'll get an update every time that Medfield TV either goes live, which they do rather frequently, and anytime they upload any new content.
It looks like we're already underway with one of the races here. Presume.
Yeah, I wanted to take a look. Maybe that's A going on right now. Not 100% sure. Actually, no. This is the conclusion of Group C of our first run through.
And once again at Mount Wario, a very popular track here. Well, I can see why. It's one of the best tracks, in my opinion. It's very unique in the way it's done, and it's very fun.
Yeah, love the single lap races here, and this is one of the more fun maps. It really does change from the top of the mountain to the bottom. The top is very barren and desolate, a lot of icy tracks, and as you get towards the bottom, obviously, it looks more like the end of a downhill skiing track.
Right.
So the white, I believe that's Dry Bones, player 3, coming in third, the top in the group there in Group C with 47 circuit points. Pretty close there between Toadette and Dry Bowser with 26 and 22 points respectively. And they're grabbing the placements there. Again, all of these will matter as the next round we're going to see our top 16 in head-to-head races. These guys in Group C and Group D will unfortunately not be featured in our top 16 final, but they'll continue on and continue to play on some of the other stations as some fans showing off to the camera, as they tend to do.
Yeah.
A couple Fortnite dances back there.
Switching the camera, he's still there.
hitting the dance moves. Everybody loves to see themselves on camera and being streamed to the YouTube masses on YouTube Live.
Yeah.
And now we've got the racers in the Group A pretty much sat and ready to go. Some gamer fuel there for Ben. He's got the Mountain Dew Code Red. Classic if you're playing some games for long amounts of time. I wish I could still handle Mountain Dew, but I can't. As you get older, I'll give you something to look forward to. Your metabolism drops off of a cliff. So just keep yourself moving as much as possible over the next 10 or 15 years, and you'll be fine, and you'll be able to keep having as much Mountain Dew as you want. So, but at the end of that side tangent, we're going to get ready for our next set of top 16. And we're back with our announcers again. I'm Jared Ware. We've got McLean, Connor as well here as we get ready to see who can match up with the DK of Justin Widup in our final championship round.
Yep. This will definitely be a very close round. As we saw in the last one, they were all pretty close races, so I'm assuming here it's going to be more of the same. So I think this will be a very interesting race like we've had.
Yeah, I believe we're going to see the pink Yoshi out of Christopher Herbst. We saw him win his group with that. We've seen some black Yoshi as well. Yoshi has been pretty popular so far today, so we'll see if maybe some of the other racers in that group as well go in a similar direction. I would say so far from what I've seen, Ben Thompson looked pretty good when we saw him earlier on. He could be certainly a favorite to win this group. Christopher Herbst looked good as well. And I even remember Jeff Alderson looking pretty solid as well. A little closer in his group, so it might be a little step up for him with some of the competition here. But we'll see who ends up on top of this group as we get a look at Group B with which will be Nate Cunningham, Grant Sullivan, Joanna Hermans, and Michael Poirier. And you can see all of our competitors there with their little name tags on. Mike Poirier in that red shirt. Joanna with the black blouse and the sweater that's like khaki colored, I think. And then Nate there with the Chillmark General Store shirt on. And then just off camera is our fourth racer as well. Everybody's in their proper spots, but I think we're getting everybody's loadout ready and getting all the pre-race settings locked into where they need to be. A great turnout for this tournament. A lot of credit to everybody for showing up and for Medfield TV getting the word out for this thing.
Of course, the numbers just spiked at the later, at the last days. It was like the numbers just started spiking. So it's like 26 people right now?
I believe 26 competitors this afternoon battling for that top 16 and obviously for those 4 medals as well. But again, everybody gets one of the coins from Ashworth Awards as well as the heavier coins for finishing in the top 16, which are they're substantial. You're getting yourself a coin. It's not a plastic piece of material. This thing has got some real weight to it.
Oh yeah, it's something. You know, I felt it. It's like real sturdy. It's not just like some cheap thing. It's just pretty well made. Yeah,
it's a pretty
really
cool,
well made.
Really a nice keepsake to kind of come away from. Both of them, all of the awards are going to be really cool keepsakes to come away with as summer is pretty much officially over in Medfield as everybody's getting back into school. That's a little bit of a bummer here in late August. Up where I work in North Attleboro, they haven't quite started school yet, so there's still a little more life left in summer, at least until next Wednesday is when they start after Labor Day. But at least you get the long weekend coming up, so it's not that bad of an introduction back to the regular school year.
Yeah, Medfield here starts really early. I've already started school.
Hey, start early, you get out early as well, so there is an upside to that as well as you can see at the top of your screen your racers in Group C. We don't have a Group D, but there's some of the parents and some of the fans there who are hanging out and watching some of these guys compete in this tournament. That's pretty cool. So it looks like a picture being taken there for probably social media, maybe some Facebook, as our top group locked in, focused, and pretty much ready to go. We'll see how this group plays out as we're going to get a look here at the loadout selection, which went very quickly there, but I did see in the top right corner the pink Yoshi being selected.
Yeah, I saw a Lincoln and Isabel as well, and I believe a Metal Mario, so it's all variations of characters here.
See what circuit they choose. This will set the 4 maps that they will go on. We haven't seen any TikTok clock, which is one of my favorites. No Excite Bike Arena. Actually, when we were play testing earlier, our first run through was on Excite Bike Arena, and
It chose
it
Mute
does
City.
look like we'll see that Excite Bike Arena at some point. They're going to start on the Mute City.
Yeah, so another one of the tracks, the F-Zero tracks in this game that was DLC in the original Mario Kart 8. One of the faster tracks, and also, once again, there's no coins on the track. It's all these side panels. This is also, I believe, a completely zero gravity track, so they will, no matter what, whenever you bump into someone, you'll always get a speed boost.
Pink Yoshi, Link, Metal Mario, and I believe that's Isabelle there on our player 4. Right now, leading the way is the Link, our player 1 in third, followed very closely by the Metal Mario in fourth. Link moving into first, but gets bumped there by the Isabelle, and Isabelle put back into second, Link into first. So that's player 1 and player 4 duking it out in our top 2 spots. You really need to take advantage of these those speed pads on this map. That's really your only way outside of drifting to pick up big speed.
Right, and you also have to watch out for the walls because there are electricity on the walls, so it's very hard to know. That was unfortunate. He got a speed boost, but the speed boost actually hurt him, and he was not able to turn out of the way of the pit.
So Pink Yoshi, the leader of our racers, jumps into second place overall. Link is in fourth. Isabelle is in fifth, and in eighth is Metal Mario. So it's very close. First, third, fourth right now, and that's a great red shell there from Isabelle to move herself into third. Link still in first overall and starting to get more comfortable on the map. Picks up a coin to jump into 5 overall, but just lost 3 of them getting hit by a shell from behind. Ooh, and actually some chain stuns there on the Link. Dropped from first down to 6, and that can certainly happen in Mario Kart 8.
Right, this is going to be a very fast-paced race. There's going to be spots changing, leaders changing very quickly because everyone's so close together on this map, so you're going to see it. Oh, and Pink Yoshi unfortunately falls off the map. And right now, Isabelle is in first with the Link following in fourth, but making a comeback with the Fire Flower.
It's just missed that speed pad. It's going to miss another there. Bumps into the wall, slowed down. Can she get back into rhythm and hit these pads where she needs to? Taking the inside pass, she's in first, but Link right behind in second. Let's see if she can hit some of these zero G's. Red shell incoming, and that is a rough spot there for the Isabelle. Changing hands there with the Link.
And we're having another player interview with Sam, right?
As Sam gets his headset on, we've got our first race here and our second set of Group A. Sam, why don't you introduce yourself to all the viewers right now?
Hi, I'm Sam. Yeah.
And how'd you do out there in your couple races so far?
Not too good. Came in my last round, and I came in second. Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So how's the tournament been for you so far? Have you enjoyed the competition?
Yeah.
It's been a good time.
Yeah.
What is it about Mario Kart 8 that you like so much?
It's just like when I got the Switch for my birthday, it was like one of the games that I really wanted, because my friend had a Wii and we would always play it.
And so you practice a lot at home?
Like last week, yeah, I kind of did.
Getting ready. What's your character of choice?
Well, I usually would choose I really just choose anyone I want.
Yeah.
I usually just use my Mii.
Yeah. Who'd you use today?
I use Latuka and Waluigi.
Nice.
Both good choices.
Solid. So you've got another race coming up. I believe you were in the top 16 earlier, right?
I don't really know.
I'm going to say that you were. I think you were,
Yeah.
right? You were racing with some of those other guys in Group B, so you finished up in the top 16. So you do have another race later on today. Is there anything else you want to say to some of the fans who are watching you right now?
Follow me on the gram.
That's Instagram for some of our older followers there. Sam, thanks for stepping in here for a little bit, and best of luck later
Thank
on.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck.
That was one of our competitors, Sam. Follow him on the gram. He didn't give you his handle, so I don't know how you're going to follow him, but you'll figure it out.
What's going on with those invisible ones? Is that like someone with a boo?
as we've got the Shy Guy. I think this is Group B, as we've got another competitor coming in here for another interview. So why don't you introduce yourself to everybody who's watching right now?
I'm like really freaked out, so I don't know what to say.
It's okay.
Hey, the cameras are not going to bite you, so that's all you have to worry about. So how has your time here been? Have you enjoyed yourself during the tournament?
Yeah, really well.
You've been having a lot of fun?
Yeah.
Who did you choose? Who'd you use as your character out there?
Shy Guy, Blue.
Why'd you choose Shy Guy Blue?
Because he's really fast.
Did you wear that blue shirt so you would match?
No, I just picked it out for today.
Huh.
So, how has the tournament been for you so far? Like, have you enjoyed yourself? Would this be something you want to do again?
Yes, definitely. I would really love to get in the semifinals if I can. But if I don't, that's fine. If my brother does, that's really awesome for our family because I'm really excited.
Do you play a lot with your brother?
Yeah, we have a Nintendo Switch at our house. And we only have 3 games because we got it at a raffle and I picked my brother's name.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And I'm assuming Mario Kart is one of them?
Yeah, Mario Kart Deluxe 8.
So is that your favorite Switch game?
Super Smash Bros. Is.
We've had a lot of Super Smash Bros. Fans. We're going to have a Super Smash Brothers tournament here pretty soon. Is there anything else you want to say to some of the fans who are watching the show right now?
Have fun and try your best if you want to join.
Awesome.
That's
You can
awesome.
look
Good
right
advice.
into this camera right here, give a big wave and a big smile, and say thanks to all the people tuning in.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your time and best of luck out there in those races.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. The competitors coming through right now, giving some of their perspective to the competition out there. And we've seen a wide variety of different age groups come through here so far. We got a lot of wide age group of competitors competing in this tournament as well. So everybody well represented as we'll get back into racing action. This is Group A, and this is one of the shortest, tightest tracks in the game. The lead is going to change hands all the time.
Yeah, you don't even really know where you are because it's 7 laps on this course. It's all anti-gravity. It's very short because it's all chaos. There's going to be items flying everywhere. You never really know, like, in relation to other players where someone is because they're all going to be going across the map so quickly.
And it looks like the Isabel is in first place, leading the way in second overall, the leader of the racers so far. Cut a corner there, was in first for just a moment, uses the red shell, and that's going to push her into the lead. The Link is in fifth, and the Metal Mario is in fourth. Bullet Bill coming around, need to be very careful there that you don't get hit by that. Metal Mario in second, Isabel in first, still leading the way.
Oh, but here comes a blue shell, so Metal Mario could possibly catch up.
Yep, and it does still look like the lead was big enough for Isabel to hold on to, and they go back and forth. It's very close. If you look on Isabel's screen, the player 4 frame, she's looking right up the back of Metal Mario as we were on lap 5 of 7, and the lightning comes through. That's going to slow down Metal Mario. It's going to slow down Isabel. Link is in 8th, looking to take advantage of being full size, as well as the pink Yoshi, who's in 3rd.
Right. Yeah, and as you can see, there's just items going everywhere. You know, it's like you don't have to be in a higher place to hit the top players with items here.
The Metal Mario and the Isabel go 1-2. The pink Yoshi in 3rd. So 3 of our racers finished in the top 3 spots. And looking at the Grand Prix scores, it looked like the Isabel leading the way with 37 Grand Prix points, but it's very, very close here in this second set of Group A.
Yep.
Certainly anybody's game to win, as we'll rotate our way to Group B. Nate Cunningham, Grant Sullivan, Joanna Hermans, and Michael Poirier going head-to-head.
Once again, we're at Big Blue, nearing the end of it. And it's a very close race, it seems. You got all the players are grouped together, so it's really anyone's game, even if you're like. So, but it looks like right now it's Pink Gold Peach in first, Bowser Jr. third, and Wario fourth, and Shy Guy in sixth.
Ooh, the Shy Guy with 32 Grand Prix points leading the way over Wario and Pink Gold Peach. Very close there, though, between second and third in this Group B. And Some long breaths being let out by the competitors. It's a tough competition out there in Group B, as we're going to jump back over to Group A. Again, somebody looking to punch their ticket in the finals, and it's the SNES version of Rainbow Road, and this is a tough one.
Yeah, it's a very popular map, but also a very hard map. So, yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see how people handle this one.
Metal Mario leading the way off the map. Isabel drops from 3rd to 4th. Ooh, a risky strategy there from the pink Yoshi, but it works out. He's going to split the 2 thwomps. He's in 3rd. The red shell's going to push him into 2nd. The Metal Mario's in 1st. He can see him on his screen up there on the player 2 side.
Oh, and another red shell, so he might be able to catch up right now.
Great usage of the bouncing part of the map there by the pink Yoshi to get a speed boost. He's going to use the drift to push himself into 1st, but cut a little early. Actually, it looked like he was trying to purposely drop into 2nd place so he didn't get hit by the blue shell. High-level strat there, didn't pay off. And the pink Yoshi drops into 3rd and goes off the map.
Falls off.
Yeah, the Metal Mario now in 2nd, moves into 1st as the thwomp takes out one of the other racers. This is going to be the completion of lap number 2. The Metal Mario holding on to the mushroom. Isabel is in 3rd.
And this blooper is going to make it very hard, because while you can't see a lot of your screen, you're also going to lose control of your vehicle a lot easier. So on a skinny map like this, it's going to be easy to fall off while drifting. But it looks like Yoshi right now is catching up. He's in 3rd. And right now he has 1 spare mushroom. So if he saves it, he can actually go on a shortcut over here.
He's got the mushroom, and he had the 10 coins. He still does, but Metal Mario, hit at the very end. Can anybody pass him? I think that was an NPC, and it is the Metal Mario finishing in 2nd, the Isabel in 5th, the pink Yoshi in 6th, and Link will come in towards the back of the pack in 10th. We'll see what the Grand Prix points look like at the end of this one, and it looks like, tied between Metal Mario and Isabel at 45, the pink Yoshi at 41.
Very close game.
And I wonder if what the tiebreaker is there at the end at 45, as we'll jump back into Group B as they decide. Some games of spin the chair going on.
Some shenanigans going on back there.
Behind the competitors there. He looks fine. And right now in 1st place, changing hands there is the baby Bowser moving into 1st, and the Wario into 2nd. The pink gold Peach comes in 3rd, and the Shy Guy will close out in 5th. So I think
close game.
The Grand Prix points here are going to be close as well, and it's Blue Shy Guy with the 40 points, edging out the Wario, the Bowser Jr. with 34, and the pink gold. Wow, close there between those 4 in Group B. I think Group C might have a couple races left. I can't see. Actually, it looks like they are potentially finished. As, they're getting the scores there over on Group C. And with that, that completes our 2nd round of placements. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading to the championship round pretty soon. We're going to see the DK. I don't know what the tiebreaker is going to be over on Group A for the other matchup in the grand finals. But with that, we're going to take about a 5 to 7 minute break. We'll come back with the championship round here at the Medfield TV Mario Kart Tournament, the 1st annual here at Medfield TV. We'll be back in 5 to 7. Don't go anywhere. We've got more Mario Kart action coming at you here on Medfield TV.
Polo in the Country is a festive fall Sunday afternoon for family, friends, and especially for children. It is held at the Norfolk Hunt Club Steeplechase Field at 240 North Street, Medfield. Gates open at 11 a.m., activities start at 12:15, and the polo match itself begins at 1. This is a highlight of the Medfield area, with attendance growing to over 1,000 people, so be sure to come this year. Proceeds are used for the benefit of preserving and protecting the natural environment, open space, and recreational areas. The rain date is Sunday, September 15th. The polo match is between 2 historic teams, Dedham Polo and the Norfolk Hunt Polo. Matches have been a long-standing event going back to 1888. It's exciting to play, very fast, and thrilling to watch. Although the details are still being worked out, the halftime show will have special features that's different from earlier years. Children from the Norfolk Hunt Pony Club will be participating in a riding agility exercise, races, and games mounted on miniature horses.
By a sudden death, we saw 2 racers tied at 45 championship Grand Prix points. So they're going to race, I believe. I believe it's going to be 1 race, a sudden death between those 2 to decide who goes on to the final against that DK. So there's a look at the 2 competitors, looking pretty loose, looking pretty confident. Again, 45 Grand Prix points between the 2 of them. And it's going to come down to sudden death dodgeball. If you get the reference, you know what's going on there. So Ribbon Road is going to be the track from the Game Boy Advance version of Mario Kart.
This is one of the harder tracks I find because that one section later on the ribbon that moves a lot, I think that's one of the harder ones because if you jump on all of them, you have a high chance of falling off and losing control. So that is one of the things you have to keep in mind.
Clean start from both of the racers. That's something we actually really haven't talked about because we haven't seen many starts to races, is that you want to hold kind of the charge of your cart before the countdown hits 0, because if you can actually backfire your engine, and that really sets you behind off the jump.
Right, there's a specific timing for getting the highest boost, which will give you a head start in the race. Usually it's around the 2-second mark is when you want to start holding the A button, which is to accelerate.
The Isabel was in first, hit by the red shell in third. Now our 2 competitors are in third and in fourth. Again, this is sudden death between the Metal Mario and the Isabel. The Isabel using the mushroom to get that shortcut there in between some of those pillars. She's using the red shell defensively as there's an incoming red shell. Metal Mario gets hit by a green shell from behind, but the blue shell is going to be huge, and Isabel's going to drop from first to second. Metal Mario is in third right behind. Make sure you don't get hit by one of those wind-up toys. Both of them weaving their way in between the 2. Isabel around the corner. Metal Mario is right there behind. Isabel's been doing a good job actually using the bouncing of the ribbon there. You see those little flourishes. She's getting those jump speed boosts. She gets hit by a red shell. Can Metal Mario make up any of the time in between them? Not yet.
Yeah, looks like a pretty strong game right now. A Bob-omb, so no protection right now because a Bob-omb's not going to be useful enough, and just evading that banana. So this might be a very close race. Right now Mario has, and another blue shell. So that's 2 blue shells this round. That's very uncommon.
Yeah, that is tough for the Isabel, but Metal Mario all the way back now in 7th place in this sudden death race, all the way back to 10th. Certainly not out of it, but is going to need some help from the CPUs and maybe some luck on his side to make up the deficit.
Yeah.
Around the corner goes Metal Mario, but it does look like Isabel, barring anything catastrophic, will punch the ticket to the championship. Weaving her way in between the Jack-in-the-Boxes, the star power-up being used on the Metal Mario, but there's not going to be enough track left for him to make up the deficit, and Isabel wins the sudden death and advances to the championship.
Yeah.
And I want to believe it's the young man in the blue T-shirt there going to the finals there from some of those high fives, so good work to both of those racers. So the Isabel takes the win and heads to the final, and now I can officially say we're going to take a 5 to 7 minute break as we reset our brackets. We've got our championship round races coming up here on Medfield TV. We'll be back in about 5 to 7. Don't go anywhere.
Polo in the Country is a festive fall Sunday afternoon for family, friends, and especially for children. It is held at the Norfolk Hunt Club Steeplechase Field at 240 North Street, Medfield. Gates open at 11 a.m., activities start at 12:15, and the polo match itself begins at 1. This is a highlight of the Medfield area with attendance growing to over 1,000 people, so be sure to come this year. Proceeds are used for the benefit of preserving and protecting the natural environment, open space, and recreational areas. The rain date is Sunday, September 15th. The polo match is between two historic teams, Dedham Polo and the Norfolk Hunt Polo. Matches have been a long-standing event going back to 1888. It's exciting to play, very fast, and thrilling to watch. Although the details are still being worked out, the halftime show will have special features that's different from earlier years. Children from the Norfolk Hunt Pony Club will be participating in a riding agility exercise, races, and games mounted on miniature horses, ponies, and other equines. Gymkhana may be included, demonstrating a set of historic contests that have many different versions to them. Some involve speed, others on different types of agility, dexterity, and coordination among the players. During halftime, the parade of the Norfolk Hunt Club Hounds is a tradition that all will enjoy. The pack will be led by huntsman Elise Phipps, master foxhounds, and whippers in from the Norfolk Hunt Club. This will exhibit amazing control and obedience of the hounds and replicated fox hunting exercises. Children will be able to meet the hounds and the riders on the field following the demonstration. Always a highlight of the day is the tailgate contest with awards given to the top winner in 4 different categories. Newcomers, for the winner who has never won before and never attended polo but displays lots of cheer and enthusiasm. Horse and around for funniest, most equine, or most thoroughly done up. Attention will be paid to details, humor, and style. Tailgate Master, the winner who is a Norfolk Hunt Club member or has won before and has a lot of enthusiasm and shows creativity. And the 4th category is Farm to Table, the tailgate that displays exquisite, delicious food, style, and detail. Now for the kids, there are plenty of other things for children to do, including pony rides, face painting, and the highly anticipated candy toss, which is held at the end of the batch. Food and drinks are available on site. 3 types of seating are available: general admission, reserved tailgate spots, and reserved table seating. General admission is $20 for adults and $5 for children, payable as you enter. Tailgate spots at field site are $115 by advance reservation only. Table seating is $40 per seat or $300 per table for 8 and must be reserved in advance. We are also offering an advance pre-purchase incentive where general admission is only $15 per adult and $5 for each child if tickets are purchased before August 31st. And parking is free. To purchase tickets, call 508-250-9953 or email norfolkpolo@gmail.com. For more information, see our website, www.norfolkhunt.com/polo, or find us on Facebook at Norfolk Hunt Club. Thank you, and we'll see you at the Steeplechase Field on Sunday, September 8th.
points here. We're going to determine our top 16 racers here. Each head-to-head will be a one-race go-around between two competitors head-to-head. There will be CPU characters in the race, but the higher finisher will grab those spots. So we're going to have Sam Gage and Joanna Hermans battling for 15th and 16th. Tyler Connor and Grant Sullivan working their way for 13th and 14th. Peter Travis and Michael Poirier going at it for 11th and 12th. Anthony Sabia and Nate Cunningham working for 9th and 10th. Grayson Spear and Jeffrey Alderson for 7th and 8th. Cooper Gage and Christopher Herbst for 5th and 6th. Daniel Sparks and Ben Thompson for 3rd and 4th. And then Justin Widup and Bo Trainer Craven going at it for that top spot. Bo Trainer Craven winning that sudden death to get into the grand final in this tournament. So he's got the clutch gene, and we're going to be joined by Medfield TV General Manager Brett Poirier in a couple moments as he's going to run through kind of a calendar of upcoming events here at Medfield TV, as this is our first matchup, as 4 of these are running simultaneously. This is Sam Gage and Joanna Herman, who the winner of this will take 15th place overall. So these two were able to jump into the top 16, and they've got themselves that heavy-duty coin coming their way.
Yep, and once again on Big Blue seems to be a popular map in the Slater half. And this is, right now they're going into the water section, so it's going to be a good area to catch speed, but unfortunately misses the area to land on.
And it's Pink Gold Peach currently in 2nd place, leading the way over the competitor there. As on the mic now is the head maestro. He'll be handing out the hardware in just a couple minutes. Brett Poirier, thanks for joining us here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a fantastic event. I've had a lot of fun putting this on. I think I was blown away by the competition. We had some awesome competition come in today. But everyone's having a good time, and I'm just happy to get people in at Medfield TV.
26 competitors on display here. Great turnout for this.
Yeah, and you know what? It was cool to see Bo, who's in the finals. He's a young kid. I kind of expected some young kids to be really good. And then you got Jacob also in the finals, which is I can't wait to see those guys. So that's going to be a lot of fun, that matchup. Definitely stay tuned for that one at the end of this tournament. But had a great turnout. And One Up Games deserves a lot of credit. I know that they pushed this event. They heard what we were doing. They wanted to be a part of it. So big ups for One Up Games.
And now this isn't the only event coming up on the Medfield TV calendar. What else is going on here in the Communities Media Center?
Yeah, so the next big one is St. Baldrick's Day. I know that we've played some advertisements going on in the middle of these rounds. St. Baldrick's Day is one that's near and dear to my heart. If you notice that I shaved my head during that one, and in fact, in the Medfield TV promo video, I have a bald head. That's because of St. Baldrick's Day. We raised money for children's cancer research. Last year, we raised about $7,000, which was pretty awesome, the best year I've ever done. And hoping that this year here we hit somewhere around 10,000.
Been running that event for a long time now. I know back before you even went to Rhode Island College, when we kind of crossed paths, you were running it at Roger Williams, and then you brought a great event to Rhode Island College. It is one of the more fun events out there, and obviously you're raising money for a great cause as well.
Of course.
Yeah, it's been awesome. By the way, before we keep going on this, I got to tell you guys, awesome job so far in the commentator booth. You guys have been a fantastic pair. I was really happy when the two of you came out and said that you can do this event. I knew that we were going to get a good group of guys together. So this has been a fantastic announced event. So that I really wanted to say thank you guys.
McLean's been doing all the heavy lifting. He's been carrying me through the finish line of a lot of these races.
Yeah, absolutely. I was mostly talking about McLean when I was talking. Yeah.
I got it. I knew where you were going. Yeah. But this has been a fun afternoon, and they're finishing up the placement matches out there, and some great pieces of hardware are going to be handed out as you get a look at about, I don't know, there's about 20 of the competitors there on display as they get through kind of the first set of placement matches. We want to keep a close eye for that matchup between Justin and Bo for the championship, as there'll be some medals being given out.
Yeah, they'll be directly on camera B, on set B. So you'll actually have your 3rd and 4th place match right on that one, and then follow that up with your finals match as well. And before I step out of the booth, because I am going to head out and make sure that the tournament keeps running, what I'm going to do is I just want to pitch some of the events that we have going forward. So we have St. Baldrick's Day. Then in October, we're actually going to do a haunted house. So we're actually going to set up the entire studio as a haunted house. So obviously, you can see what we did here. You can imagine we're going to put that much effort into scaring some people. We're going to have a little kid section and then an adult section later on in the night. We're going to do a Winter Wonderland for the Christmas tree lighting that I know is a huge event in Medfield. We're so happy to be a part of it. So we're going to do a whole section for people to be able to come in and take part in that event. And then the biggest thing that we're working on, and the biggest thing I think people are excited about, is the Mike Sullivan documentary. We're calling it The Open Door Policy, the Mike Sullivan story. And obviously 44 years as town administrator. He was the longest tenured town administrator in American history, which is unbelievable. We were so lucky in Medfield to have him part of our town, and we're doing a great documentary on him. We've done 11 different interviews, 7 hours of interviews, and a ton of different footage, and that goes from his early days all the way to obviously when he his last day of retirement, which has been fantastic. So we're really excited about that as well. You guys will be hearing about that.
Good stuff all around here being done in the Communities Media Center, and anybody watching this who kind of catches the itch of wanting to help out in these events can certainly swing by. Speaking of open door policies, certainly an open door policy here at Medfield TV. He's getting pulled in a couple different directions, so he's going to go out and make sure that our final couple of races go off pretty smoothly here. As he mentioned, the championship races will be on camera B, I believe, or in Group B. Which is a little bit of a departure from what we've been doing. And then he's also going to get the awards set up because he's going to hand out those awards as well.
Yep.
So this actually looks like it's going to be Cooper Gage and Christopher Herbst on your screen there getting ready for the 5th and 6th place match. And then on group, I believe that's Group C, is the 3rd and 4th place match between Daniel Sparks and Ben Thompson. And then they're saving that final head-to-head between Justin Widdop and Bo Trainer Craven for everybody to come and watch them go head-to-head.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting bunch of races here.
And these guys battling that matchup between Daniel Sparks and Ben Thompson. Both of those guys will have a medal at the end of the night, finishing in that top 4. These guys on your screen there for 5th and 6th. They will get those top 16 coins as well as the participation coin as well. Looks like we're going to see the pink Yoshi out of Chris. Is a little rock, paper, scissor.
Oh.
Scissor cuts paper. The age-old classic, the game before the game, as some would say. And we're going to go into the character select here and the pink Yoshi, which has been the standard there for Chris. And we're going to see the baby Bowser on as the opposite number there for Cooper.
Yeah. Definitely a difference where we have one cart and then one bike here, so definitely be interesting to see how that will affect their race styles.
The Hyrulean glider being used there by the pink Yoshi, down to 100cc race, and actually they're going to bump that up to 150. Everything looks pretty good. Our tournament officials going around and making sure everything is stock standard the way it needs to be. Again, this is just one race, so where they're going to decide on the track that they're going to hit. I wonder if we're going to see anything new here. Toad Harbor, one of my favorites. We'll see if they go there. Nope, they're going to go Twisted Mansion, which we have seen.
Yes. I was really hoping to see Dolphin Shoals today. That's one of my favorite courses.
Yeah, I haven't been there whatsoever so far. One of the things with the way things have gone in the stage select, but Twisted Mansion for the 2nd time, at least that I can remember, maybe the 3rd, again, draws inspiration from the GameCube game, Luigi's Mansion, one of the release games back on the GameCube many, many, many years ago. Again, GameCube might be a little before your time. Maybe you played Super Smash Brothers on there?
I was a little bit too late for the GameCube, just like a little bit too late, just missed it.
Yeah, the N64 had a little more longevity in terms of still kicking around. I still know people who have N64s. I don't know many people who have Nintendo GameCube sitting around, though I wish I kept my GameCube controllers because they were selling for a pretty penny when the Switch first came out, because that's the standard pad for Super Smash Brothers, and they were selling for like $100 on eBay, and I had 4 of them.
Yeah, I have. I got mine for Smash Bros. When the Wii U one came out, and I just have. I still have that one, so I got to keep that, so I didn't have to buy a new one. I believe it was cheaper back then, so.
Yep.
I could have sold that, but I've kept mine for now.
Looks like the Pink Yoshi leading the race ahead of the Baby Bowser, who's in 7th, who's ghosted, and he has the boomerang to work with. It's a tough power-up. It's pretty powerful, but it takes a lot of aim and a lot of precision there. You see knocking the full-size Bowser down and jumping into 8th place.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting weapon because it can hit people on the way forward and then the way back. Yep. So it's a very interesting item.
Can chain those stuns together to really help you move up the pack. And the Pink Yoshi in first place. We're on the second lap of 3 on Twisted Mansion. This is a matchup for 5th and 6th place overall in the tournament. These guys came up just a little bit short in their groups to end up in this matchup, but still good turnouts overall for both. Oh, going for that coin and denied by the hammer is the Pink Yoshi. That drops.
Oh, but he misses a blue shell, so he gets to avoid that, and
yeah,
that's pretty good.
Patient racing there, too. Waited for that blue shell to explode. Actually totally decelerated there to make sure he didn't get caught up in the fracas. 10 coins for both of the racers, 1st place and 10th place. The player 2, Pink Yoshi, I believe that's Chris Herbst, currently leading the way in this matchup with Cooper Gage.
Yeah.
And it's been all the Pink Yoshi. Again, still has those 10 coins, leading overall not only the one competitor that he's going against, but the rest of the computer program users.
Yeah, definitely has a good lead here.
He's going to pick up those coins, and he will clutch out 5th place with the overall win. So going out in style, just missing out on his spot in the grand final there, but taking the win. And yeah, the thumbs up for the camera. And a look over to the broadcast booth as well, as we're just over his right shoulder there. So a good finish, grabs all of those Grand Prix points that at this point don't really matter, but picks up the win over Bowser Jr. So ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of Mario Kart tonight. If you've been with us since about 6 o'clock, we're cresting 8:30 in the evening. We started a little bit late, but we've come down to our final head-to-head. Justin Widdop and Bo Trainer Craven will go head-to-head. I believe they're just going to do one race. And at the conclusion of this race, we're going to send it into the studio as Brett Poirier, who you heard earlier on the airwaves, will present the medals to the winners. So we're going to get our championship racers into the studio there on stage B. And I think that's Bo right there.
Well, that's us.
Well, yeah, we are not racing for the championship quite yet. How do you think you'd stack up to the field, being in here all night, seeing some of the racers? You think you could have been in that top 5 or 6 range?
I would hope so. I mean, I played a lot of Mario Kart 8, so I think I probably could have. I'm a bit rusty, though, so they're always that. Some of these guys are, like, super good, so it's like, I don't even know.
Now that you've kind of got your feet a little more wet in casting, I know you've done an event before, but if Medfield were to do another tournament, would you want to do the casting again, or would you be drawn towards competing maybe?
I'll probably do the casting again. I mean, this is fun, I love watching the stuff. I'm not always the best at playing it, but watching it is always something that I enjoy. So being able to provide my input on watching it is something that I find really enjoyable. That's super cool.
I actually misspoke. This is the 3rd and 4th place matchup between Daniel Sparks and Ben Thompson. So we will see 2 more races here at Medfield. I don't think we're going to see 3 because I don't think you can tie head-to-head.
And we get to see Toad Harbor. No, is this something? This is Yoshi Circuit.
Oh, and a pause. Our first pause of the night. And we're back underway. The Metal Mario in the Koopa. I believe this was the Koopa who finished behind Justin Widup earlier on in Group A. So a pretty skilled racer and already jumps out to the lead here in second, bumps away the Waluigi to jump into first with some mushrooms to work with.
Yeah.
Good drifting here. He's going to pick up the coin, which will bump him up to 6. This is a tough section right here. These turns are very tough to drift around. Really have to get used to those. He's going to get a little speed boost off of that jump as well into his drift around the corner. The Metal Mario in 6th.
Yeah, this is always a course that's given me trouble before because that last section, it's a lot of tight turns because just they decided to shape it like Yoshi, so it's like, yeah, when you go down the spines, it's just super hard to like stay on like the course. I fall in the grass a lot because I go too fast.
Now, this has been a tough race so far for the Metal Mario of Ben Thompson, who was a sudden death race away from being in our grand final, but now sees himself battling for 3rd place. And the Koopa looking really strong, cuts the angle on that spine. This is the toughest part of the track, coming around towards the completion of lap number 2. He's going to go over that jump, going to get a little boost there as well. The Koopa looking really strong, leading the entire race. He's got 8 coins, which is good, not great. Certainly looking for those 2 more to get to that maximum speed. Good drift around the corner. On to the 3rd and final lap. Pretty solid advantage here for the Koopa, the Waluigi, who's a CPU racer. Behind him, the Metal Mario making a move into 5th. We'll see what he has left in the gas tank, but not a good drift around that corner right there is really going to slow him down.
Yeah. Right now, Koopa has a big lead on everyone else, and they're on the 3rd lap. So hopefully Metal Mario is able to get an item like a bullet bill or something to help him catch up, but it might be too close. And they got about 1/4 of the racetrack left, actually.
Here's that spine part, and navigated nicely by the Koopa. And it looks like Daniel Sparks, with the sparks on his tire from drifting, will take home the 3rd place medal in front of Ben Thompson. The 1st place finish, he goes out in style as well, not only beating his opposite number, but winning the race overall. So 3rd place for Daniel, and a 4th place finish there for Ben. Ben rocking the Mario t-shirt as well.
Good job, buddy.
And closing out in 9th overall there is the Metal Mario, piloted by Ben.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're going to get our 2 final competitors going head-to-head. I heard Justin in there earlier, so I'm sure he's ready to go. We're going to see a pretty sizable age gap, I believe, between these two, between Justin and Bo. Again, going for the top spot in the group, about 8:30 in the evening. Thanks to those who have stuck with us through the live stream on YouTube. Again, go find that subscribe button, which I think I'm pointing towards it on, maybe it's over there, over that way. Sorry. But hit that subscribe button on the YouTube page, and stay tuned with everything that Medfield TV is doing. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going up on that YouTube channel sooner rather than later. That documentary sounds great. I'm certainly going to make sure I catch some of that, because I know they put in a lot of effort getting those interviews and cutting those things together. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it sounds really interesting.
So here we go. We've got Justin and Bo, and it looks like they're gonna stick with their 2 characters. We've got the flower glider being used by the DK, and we've got the Isabel being used. That's Bo on the Isabel, Justin on the DK. Justin has been really strong so far in this tournament. Bo, though, nerves of steel. Not only does he win the sudden death race, but he wins the game of rock, paper, scissors. I wonder if that is for stage selection.
I believe it is. I think it's whoever wins gets to choose the stage, which can be very useful because a stage that one might find hard, the other one might find easy. So it's a very and you see Ribbon Road here.
I love it. I love it from Bo. He won. He clutched out the sudden death on Ribbon Road, and he goes right back to it in what is another sudden death game for him, looking to take home the title. So sticking with home comfort here, Ribbon Road, title on the line. We'll see who gets the clean start. You can hear a pin drop out in the studio. Both of them off the line clean. Bo jumps up into fourth, actually third now, but Justin's into third. They exchange positions, second and third overall. Red shell.
That was a nice one.
And he didn't get over. He had to get the air assistance there, missed it by only a couple pixels there. He would have been clean over that jump, and that is a big setback for the Isabel. Let's see how Bo is able to respond. He was able to use these bounces in the track earlier, and using those to his advantage. He's got the fire plant, and he used it on Justin to jump into third. Throws a couple more fireballs behind him. Justin avoiding those now. Another tough shell. The shell luck right now has been tough for the Isabel. We'll see if she tries to cut the corner. She does not, and a wrong drift there as well from Bo, so that's going to set him back. Justin moves into third on the DK.
Yeah, it's a very close race right now. It's anyone's game at this point.
What an interesting first lap there between these two. Dodging the fireballs is the Isabel. But again, that jump, that's 2 for 2. That Bo's been unable to clear that because of some bad timing on some shells. Justin goes into first, and he's using the red shell on defense. And there is a pretty big gap being opened up between these two.
But here comes
a blue shell.
Yeah. This could change things up a lot.
Oh, that's a rough spot to take that blue shell. The Isabel is in fourth now, had the star activated. Weaves his way in between the two totems there, going around the corner. In second and in fourth are two racers. Third and final lap, Justin moves into first using that red shell on defense. The Isabel's going to pick up a power up here going around the corner. Can she get over this jump cleanly? Actually, the shell comes a little early. It's been the same part of the map every time. Using those green shells, only 2 coins, though, for the Isabel, 10 for the DK. Obstructed view, quickly gone away on the side of the Isabel, who's back in fourth. All the way in fifth now, Justin leading the way, but he's still in miniature form. We'll see if the Isabel can make up the ground here coming into the final jump. Double power up there for the DK. He's going to get the coin. He's going to use the green shell on defense. He's going to drift around the last corner. Unless anything catastrophic happens, it looks like he's going to hold on to win the tournament. And Justin Widup holds off the Isabel and holds off Bo Trainer Craven on Bo's lucky map. And dabbing there in second place is Bo. So congratulations to our 2 finalists. And our winner, Justin Widup.
Yeah, great job from everyone who participated. Everyone did a great job here.
Great sportsmanship on display there between those two. A shake of the hands and a hug as well. And I think they're going to take a second to get the camera set up for the trophy or the medal presentation there to our top 4. And I believe they're going to hand out the coins as well to the top 16. And actually, we're not going to hand out the awards. We'll throw up the results online on either the Facebook or Instagram page. We're going to bring in the GM, Brett Poirier, one more time to close out the night.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who participated. Obviously, our 2 champions it was an awesome race between the 2 of them, a lot of fun. I want to thank my staff, Audrey and Tom, who did a fantastic job. You guys don't actually see the work that they put in, but let me tell you, this took 3 days just to set up this tournament, and so we were doing that all week. Tom and Audrey in the back there, they made this whole thing happen. They were working, coordinating together. We also had a live selectment meeting going on too, so Mike Geegan, he's not a part of this broadcast, but we couldn't have done tonight without him as well. You guys, obviously, like I said before, thank you guys so much for everything that you did. 1UP Games, they absolutely killed it running our tournament. And then Ashworth Awards, everyone's talking about the awards that we're giving out today. We have the top 16 coin that everyone loves, the token that everyone got, and of course we're going to hand out some sweet medals. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated today. So thanks, guys. And if you're interested in sponsoring our next event, make sure you email me at brett@medfield.tv or give us a call, 508-359-8888. If you want to sponsor another event that we put on, you guys can see what we do. You can see that our events are bigger and better than everyone else, right? Thank you guys so much.
And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time at Medfield TV. Again, a bunch of events coming up. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast. For McLean Connor, I'm Jared Ware. See you guys later. Bye. So sticking with home comfort here, Ribbon Road, title on the line. gets the clean start. You can hear a pin drop out in the studio. Both of them off the line clean. Bo jumps up into fourth, actually third now, but Justin's into third. They change positions, second and third overall. Red shell. And he didn't get over. He had to get the air assistance there. Missed it by only a couple of pixels there. He would have been clean over that jump, and that is a big setback for the Isabel. Let's see how Bo is able to respond. He was able to use these bounces in the track earlier, and using those to his advantage. He's got the fire plant, and he used it on Justin to jump into third. Throws a couple more fireballs behind him. Justin avoiding those now. Oh, another tough shell. The shell luck right now has been tough for the Isabel. She tries to cut the corner. She did not hit a wrong drift there as well from Bo, so that's going to set him back. Justin moves into third on the DJ.
Yeah, it's a very close race right now. It's anyone's game at this point.
What an interesting first lap there between these two. Dodging the fireballs is Isabel, but again, that jump, that 2 for 2, that Bo's been unable to clear that because of some bad timing on some shells. Justin goes into first, and he's using the red shell on defense, and there is a pretty big gap being opened up between these two.
But here comes
a blue shell.